You've probably seen it. The message spreading across your feed right now, claiming February 2026 is a once-in-823 years calendar miracle. It's everywhere. WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The posts are breathless with excitement. They're calling it a MiracleIn month. They're telling you to share it for good luck. And millions of people are hitting that forward button without thinking twice. Here's what we're going to find out today. This so-called miracle happens every single year. And the math that proves it? You learned it in elementary school. So why does this hoax keep spreading? Why do intelligent people share it without doing a 5-second calculation? The answer reveals something uncomfortable about how we process information online. Let's trace this myth from its origins, tear apart its fake science, and arm you with the tools to never fall for calendar nonsense again. First, let's look at what the viral message actually claims. It says February 2026 has exactly 4 Sundays, 4 Mondays, 4 Tuesdays, 4 of every single weekday. The message insists this alignment only happens once every 803 years. Some versions call it a MiracleIn month, a term that sounds scientific but exists nowhere in actual calendar terminology. According to Gulf News, the term MiracleIn has no recognized scientific or calendar meaning whatsoever. It was invented specifically for this hoax to give it a veneer of legitimacy. And here's where it gets really ridiculous. Some versions of the hoax also claim February 2026 will have a 25-hour day. Yes, you read that right, an extra hour just appearing from nowhere. But let's focus on the main claim, the 4 of each weekday thing, because debunking this requires nothing more than basic division that you can do on your fingers. Here's the reality. February 2026 has 28 days because 2026 is not a leap year. And 28 divided by 7 equals exactly 4. That's it. That's the whole miracle. Every single non-leap year February in history has exactly 4 of each weekday. Last year's February. The year before that. Every common year going back centuries. According to Time and Date.com, the 823-year figure is recycled misinformation that resurfaces regularly with new years. They documented identical claims for 2025, 2024, and 2022. The pattern is clear. Someone updates the year, the message spreads, fact-checkers debunk it, and then a year later the exact same thing happens again with a new date. So where did this nonsense originate? Africa Check traced its evolution and found something interesting. This hoax may have actually started as a joke. According to Africa Check, the rumor may have originated as humor, but has since been circulated with quasi-religious messages. People now take it completely seriously. That evolution from joke to sincere belief is crucial. It explains why the hoax is so hard to kill. It's accumulated emotional significance that the original creator never intended. Africa Check explicitly identifies this as a copypasta, copied and pasted text that exploits calendar illiteracy and uses good luck chain elements to pressure people into sharing. The good luck chain element is key. These messages don't just share information, they threaten you. Don't share it, and you'll miss out. Share it, and blessings will come. This psychological pressure bypasses critical thinking. Your brain shifts from "is this true?" to "what's the cost of not sharing?" And that's exactly what the hoax designers wanted. The timeline of this hoax shows just how persistent it is. In 2022, identical claims circulated for that year's February. In 2024, another wave hit social media. In 2025, the hoax resurged again with updated year references. And now in January 2026, the MiracleIn version has gone viral claiming this February is the special one. Multiple fact-checkers worldwide have debunked this claim for February 2026. Newsweek, Gulf News, Africa Check, PesaCheck, and Time and Date.com have all published corrections. But here's the frustrating part. The fact-checks never seem to travel as far as the original hoax. The lie races around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. Why? Because sharing a miracle feels good. Sharing a correction feels like you're being the buzzkill at the party. Nobody wants to be that person. Let's talk about why this particular hoax works so well. It exploits a specific gap in most people's mathematical intuition about calendars. Most people don't think about why February has 28 days in common years. They just accept it as one of those calendar quirks, like why September isn't the 7th month anymore. When you don't understand why something is true, you're vulnerable to false explanations that sound plausible. Once every 823 years sounds like it could be real calendar math. But real calendar rarities work differently. For example, the Gregorian calendar actually does repeat on a 400-year cycle. That's actual calendar mathematics documented by time and date. The 823-year figure has no mathematical basis whatsoever. It's not derived from any calculation. It was simply made up because it sounds impressively large and specific. That specificity is a hallmark of hoaxes. Vague claims get questioned. But 8023 years sounds like someone did the research. It has the texture of truth without the substance. Here's what the time and date fact-check team stated directly. The 8023 years figure is recycled misinformation that resurfaces regularly, often rewritten with a new year. The recycling aspect is important. Whoever spreads this hoax doesn't create new content. They just change the year and let it loose again. It's the laziest form of misinformation. And that's partly why it keeps working. By the time people forget the previous debunking, a new version appears. The hoax exploits our short collective memory. Chain messages have existed since the postal era. Before the internet, people would receive letters threatening bad luck if they didn't copy and mail it to 10 friends. The internet didn't invent this phenomenon, it supercharged it. What once took weeks to spread through postal mail now circles the globe in hours through social media. The psychology remains identical. These messages exploit our fear of missing out, our desire to share special information with loved ones, and our reluctance to break a chain. Some researchers suggest chain messages satisfy social bonding needs. Sharing something special with friends makes you feel connected, even if the something is complete nonsense. Other researchers point to declining numeracy skills and the sheer speed of social media. People scroll, see something that looks interesting, and share before their critical thinking kicks in. There's no genuine scientific debate about whether this claim is true. Multiple international fact-checkers have confirmed it's straightforwardly false. The math is elementary school level. The interesting question isn't whether it's true. It's why millions of adults share something that a fourth grader could disprove with a pencil and 10 seconds of thought. Part of the answer is that we've trained ourselves not to think critically about what we share. The share button has become reflexive, not reflective. Another part is that calendar math feels like it should be complicated. We have leap years, time zones, and calendar reforms. Surely the weekday thing must be tricky too? But it isn't. 28 is divisible by 7. That's the whole story. Every February in a common year has exactly 4 of each weekday. Full stop. Leap year Februaries have 29 days, which does create an uneven distribution. 5 of some weekday, 4 of others. But even that's not rare. Leap years occur every 4 years. The 8023 years claim is so mathematically illiterate that it's almost impressive. You'd have to actively avoid doing any research to believe it could be true. Let's be absolutely clear about the verdict. This claim is completely, unambiguously false. February's 4 of each weekday pattern is as common as non-leap years themselves. So what can we learn from this? The hoax reveals uncomfortable truths about how we consume and spread information in the digital age. First, we trust things that look official. The word MiracleIn sounds like scientific terminology, even though it was invented for this specific hoax. Second, we're suckers for specificity. 823 years sounds like a calculated figure, not a made-up number. Precision creates an illusion of accuracy. Third, social pressure bypasses logic. When a message threatens bad luck or promises blessings, we evaluate the cost of not sharing rather than the truth of the claim. So here's your first defense. Before sharing any once in X years claim, do the basic math yourself. Calendars follow predictable patterns that anyone can verify. For calendar claims specifically, time and date, com is your friend. They have tools that let you check any date, any year, and verify claims in seconds. Be deeply suspicious of any message that pressures you to share for good luck or warns you'll miss a rare opportunity. That pressure is a red flag, not a feature. When you see friends sharing this hoax, correct them gently. Don't mock them. Explain the math. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. It really is that simple. Train yourself to pause before hitting share. That 2-second pause is often enough for your critical thinking to catch up with your scrolling thumb. Ask yourself, does this claim require me to believe something that defies basic mathematics? If a miracle would be disproven by elementary school division, it's probably not a miracle. Remember the recycling pattern. If someone claims something is rare and happening this year, search for the same claim from previous years. You might be surprised what you find. Check the source. If a claim doesn't cite where the 80-23 years calculation came from, that's because the calculation doesn't exist. Real facts have traceable origins. Develop what I call hoax pattern recognition. Chain message language, share for luck, happens once in a lifetime, don't break the chain, is almost always a warning sign. The real miracle here isn't February's calendar alignment. It's the fact that millions of people can be fooled by something so easily disproven, year after year after year. That says something about our relationship with information. We've become so accustomed to sharing without verifying that even basic math can't save us. But it doesn't have to be this way. Every debunking that gets shared, every gentle correction, every moment of pause before forwarding, it all helps slow the spread. As Africa Check put it, it is a copypasta that takes advantage of people's lack of knowledge about how the calendar works and uses good luck chain elements to spread. Understanding the mechanism is the first step to building immunity. Now you know how this hoax works, and that knowledge makes you resistant to its spread. You also now have the simplest possible rebuttal. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. That's the whole debunk. Share that instead of the hoax. Because here's the thing about internet hoaxes. They survive not because of the people who create them, but because of the people who spread them without thinking. Every share is a choice. Every forward is a decision. And every time you pause to verify before sharing, you're part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So the next time you see a post about a once-in-centuries calendar miracle, remember this episode. Remember the math. Remember that if it sounds too miraculous, it probably isn't. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. That's not a miracle. That's just math. And math doesn't care about your chain messages. Thanks for watching Internet Mythbusters. Hit subscribe if you want more hoax investigations. Share this video, not for luck, but because someone you know probably needs to see it. And remember, the internet is full of claims that sound too good to be true. Most of them are. See you in the next investigation.